So it's important for our people who know medicine and healing, it's important for them to bring out these realities. People in computers, when we talk about these things, what is a byte, what is a bit, what are all these things, so that you can bring out its realities. Because we can talk on all these different subjects, but it's for those who are out there that Allah wants from their specialty, bring it out. Go in and bring now the Muhammadan haqqaiq upon this earth. When Prophet gave to us that the root of all sickness is the belly. That's an ocean of very scary things now. We said before, if you don't believe that there's a battle, so do you believe the shaitan is out to battle you? If you don't, then nothing we say makes any sense. But if you're people of Islam and Iman, you go back and say, that must be pretty deep that Prophet described the root of all sickness is the belly and shaitan runs in your blood. So how are you going to take down, this is now a military maneuver. He looks at you as, how I'm going to take this potential person down who would fight me one day. And exactly the hadith of Prophet. So most dangerous medicines are that which neutralize your stomach acid. So now our GTP guys, not our shaykh.ai, shaykh.ai is not a medical course, the ChatGTP go and research medical things, right? So shaitan says, oh well I got to get into their belly and I have to put my progeny into their belly and I have to put my eggs into their belly. But Allah made a defense in the belly which is called acid, hydrochloric acid, some crazy powerful acids, and we call those stomach acids. And the purpose of those stomach acids are what? To destroy anything that comes into the belly. But there are medicines that shaitan has put and foods that shaitan has brought into existence for the only purpose of neutralizing the acid. Right? So say if you drink anything with soda and carbonation, you neutralize your stomach acid and now your food can't be digested properly. And medicines that they take to kill the acid, your stomach can't digest properly. And food colours and foods and different types of foods that neutralize the stomach acid. Then when you look from a battle perspective, shaitan is after the stomach. Why? So that if he takes the acid away and your ability to break down the parasites, break down the worms and break down the eggs. So without this necessary acid what happens? Anything you eat with all of these bacterias and germs that's going to be everywhere, because every time you take a cucumber out of the ground it's filled with dirt. And people also fertilized all their farming with animal feces. All of them have worms, pinworm, tapeworm, all of them have planted eggs within these vegetation and fruits. But it was supposed to be somewhat okay if you had acid in your stomach, because it would go in there to an acid bath because Allah has a natural defense He's made. But shaitan said, no, how I'm going to put my children in the guy's belly, because that's his children, he runs through the blood, he wants his worms and he wants his evilness. What we said is their world of dirtiness and bacteria and microbes and all these things, he wants it to be inside the belly, so he has to neutralize the condition for them to enter. So he said, now with all these medicines and all these things that people are taking and drinking and eating, what happens? These things you eat and drink and the meats that you eat and the vegetables and fruits, the eggs are coming in, they hatch and they go throughout the body. So these are the systems that the people of tafakkur, these are from when the world entered into the dark age, Islam came as a light. This is a second Jahaliyyah, and the advent of Imam Mahdi salam is the Mahdiyun light. So, as was before it shall be again, that the beatific lights of Islam come as a reminder to illuminate the earth, especially in its time of needs, which are now, because the immensely ignorant people under the oppression of shaitan making all these foods and products. And Islam comes to illuminate and say, no, 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 we have to look to the stomach, we have to look at what Allah made as a natural defense. Anything that counters that defense is shaitan throwing his progeny. And that's why then the sickness of parasites and these creatures that can overtake a human. If those parasites enter the brain, they overtake the brain. If they enter into the heart, into the liver, they say there's so much now happening within the stomach that the liver begins to develop an alcohol and the person doesn't even drink, so they call non-alcoholic liver. There's so much infestation of the stomach and these parasites are now going into the liver, and as a result of all of these bacterias in the liver they're finding these different things. And this is all what we talked about, the physiology of a battle. So if you're the castle, shaitan's going for your heart. How are you going to go for your heart? He's entering in, he's going to enter into your stomach and he's going to neutralize the condition within your stomach, so that your next line of defense is where? Your liver and kidneys. And both of them are on attack now because of the diet of people. Diet is bad, the kidney is what they call fat kidney, what do they call it? Fatty liver, but it's actually non-alcoholic liver it's called, because the liver is producing an alcohol that it shouldn't be, because it's overwhelmed by the parasites, the fats, the wrong foods, these acids that are not digesting the foods. And then now the difficulties upon the kidney. But this is shaitan's movement towards the heart. So it's our people whom are spiritual have to bring out these realities. Just like when we talked about the computer being from shaitan and everybody was denying it, and now everyone's freaking out about it from the dunya side there. Where these chips came from? Nobody can make these types of chips. Where is these communication signals going and where are they coming from? All of their technology, if you look at it too much, is spooky, none of it makes any sense. So this is now the condition of people. When we told people from the teachings of the heavens that 99% of humans are not human anymore, then people are turning on the news and say, where's the humanity? We told you 99% have gone, there is no humanity. What they did and what they allowed themselves of these inoculations and shots and food and diets, the soul has been pushed down and shayateen have entered into people. When a shayateen jinn, not shaitan, shaitan's big ones, the marada and ifrit, when they enter into a human they love the meat of humans, they love the torturing of humans and they love the suffering of humans. Anything positive burns them. So when you say, oh stop what you're doing, stop what you're doing, they can't do anything good, it will burn them. And they look at it with no empathy, they don't understand what you're talking about. Because they feed off of the anger, they feed off of the screaming and the yelling that any humans left on this earth can't even look without crying. So what do you mean what happened to the humanity? Mawlana Shaykh's teaching, it left a long time ago. Now we live amongst 99% that are possessed, and their possession allows them this level of inhumane characters, because they feed off of the anger, the grief, the suffering, the screaming, the yelling, and off of the flesh and bones of mankind. So when they want to know when is Dajjal coming, he's already here. And these are all the signals coming from the heavens on how to spread light, spread hope. Humanity, whatever is left of it, has to understand. They say that these types of things, will they be punished in the grave, Shaykh, because they're inhumanity? Of course they will. These talks we gave like an elevator. If in your youth you decide to go to college, drink and smoke and party, your elevator is on the lowest floor. What will come into you at the lowest floor? Every type of shayateen. So that why? Because then he's going to take you into these corporations, to these organizations in which you too, God forbid, will enjoy the suffering of mankind. Purposeful. So of course you're going to be accountable. They can't enter the grave and say, I didn't know I was possessed doing these things. Of course you knew. You made all the wrong choices, and Allah says, I will never reward the evildoers, and everybody will taste of the punishment. And then the people whom they do go to school and they go into this dunya, they go with faith, they abstain from badness, then of course they purified their souls and they receive the blessing of a purified soul. So these are the result of the choices of mankind, underestimating the extent of evilness and the attack of evilness. But all the words are coming true, but people don't seem to put them together. Literally 99% of humanity is gone. Don't be surprised when you don't see human qualities anymore. What we are seeing are jinn nations on this earth whom they feed off of the blood and flesh of mankind. That should be pretty frightening for people. Bi hurmati Muhammadan Mustafa, Surat al-Fatiha. شوف يا سيدي الكريم.